Hello, this is Johnny Cycles with CyclesGaming.com here for the wrap up of our practice league, if you will, for our Lukka surprise deck featuring Karn the Great Creator. Overall, I was really happy with the deck. I had some really fun games and matches. I like the changes. I like the early interaction we get with Fatal Push and Thoughtseize. I like the secondary game plan of Karn the Great Creator, and I like that we still have, though less consistent, we still have our Lukka and Mercall Hasty plan. Consistency was an issue, although it was an issue with when we were playing Gruul, Lukka Surprise, with all the ways to find Lukka. Sometimes you just don't find the card, and yeah, we had greater chances of finding what we needed with the Gruul deck, but we had less ways to interact with what our opponent was doing. So I think it was probably a wash in our practice league. We played 5 games, or 5 matches, went 3 and 2. We played maybe we played some in the free league, some in the best of 3, so we got to play a variety of different types of decks. We did not run into some of the most popular tier 1 deck strategies out there, and that's fine. We'll expect to see those in a real league. It was fun to play against some other types of decks, and hopefully it'll be fun for you to watch some other types of decks. So in our wins, we took down the new Rakdos Souls of the Lost Cookbook Graveyard Shenanigans deck, and that was really fun. That was one of my most fun matches. Match number 2, we overcame some really awkward opening 7s and mulliganings into more awkward 7s, into more awkward 7s, and having to go to 5 to take down Jund. It was more of a traditional Jund, 2013 Jund. But we definitely got lucky in our game 3 to win that match, although we were so unlucky in games 2 and 3 up until that point that I'll take that luck. But that was really exciting. Another really fun match. Both had mini wrap-ups. I was so excited after finishing them, not just because I won, but just in the way I won. You got to see some of the real fun and excitement and power of this deck. Then we ran up against a pile of Modern Horizons 2 cards, and it was Naya color, so that was a little bit interesting, and lost to that pretty handily. And then in our 4th match, we played against Storm, which another tier 1 deck from way back when. Made a couple misplays to lose game 2, but we overall took down Storm, won games 1 and 3. Got to resolve an Emrakul in game 3 to win. They scooped Karn in game 1, which I still think that's an early scoop. They could have played it out, but who knows? Their hand must not have been very good. And then our final match, we played against Is It Prowess, and that is just a really tough matchup for our deck. They're very fast, very efficient, and they have nothing but removal and powerful and low to the ground efficient creatures. So the chances that we get to stick one of our Mana Dorks or our Ragavan are very slim. And so while we're cobbling together via just lands to hit 5 mana, we don't even have a creature to target should we live long enough to get to resolve a Lukka. And should we have a Mana Dork out, there's a good chance they'll just fizzle our -2 with Lukka by killing the creature that we target. So I think that is a really tough matchup. We lost both games pretty handedly. The deck played very clunkily, but in part that was our opponent's doing, right? Interrupting our game plan, killing our creatures, having answers, having their own interaction, our tricks. The game 1 where we lightning bolted their Dragon's Rage Channeler and they kept it around with a mutagenic growth and forcing us to use our Fatal Push, allowing them to stick their Sprite Dragon. Really changed the nature of that game. But it's a tough matchup. I really would just, if you're going to play this deck, you hope to dodge that kind of matchup, but whether it's Is It Prowess burn or just straight up burn, those are really tough. Some of the other decks like Rakdos Scam and Is It Murktide, sure, they have answers, they have ways to interact and kill our creatures, they just have less ways, it seems like. So yeah, overall, deck's really fun. I'll run it through a league and post a video. It might not be a while. It might not be soon though. I'm going to try to get some videos of the spoilers from Murders at Markov Manor up and update my various commander decks that I've written about. And it's the weekend, so my work days are going to be full as I'm a stay-at-home dad when my kids are not in school. So it's like part-time gig that I'm a stay-at-home dad. Really more like 60 hours a week. My part-time gig is this. So I work on this website when my kids are in school or after they go to bed. So my weekend of work is coming up, so I'm going to try to get as much done as I can today. It's a Friday. Get this video up, maybe get my Omnath my budget Omnath and my non-budget Omnath commander decks updated with the cards from Murders at Markov Manor, and then I'll probably not be able to do much more. But I will try to run this through a league eventually. I really love the deck. One of the best parts about the deck is the inevitability of it, that we are literally very, very often one draw away from winning, no matter the board state. Oftentimes we can be behind on board, behind on life, but if we hit that Lukka and get the Emrakul down, a lot of times it's just game over. And with the new additions of Fatal Push and Thoughtseize, it's really given us ways to manage the board state to put us in a position to not be dead even after resolving the Emrakul, so that increases our chances of living after resolving an Emrakul, even if it does decrease our chances of making it hasty. Karn the Great Creator has its pluses and minuses. Great against Affinity, against Urza Saga decks, in its own way. Get a Pithy Needle or just shut down some of their other artifacts that they fetch up with it. The sideboard, work in progress with some of these Gear Hulks, and didn't never bring them in, didn't never fetch them up. We also saw the drawback of Karn the Great Creator. Yeah, our 1-of Chalice of the Void is nice when it's a silver bullet, but when we really need it on turn 2 against that, like that is a prowess deck, we can't get it until we have Karn down, and then it takes another turn to untap and cast it. So there is a drawback to having Karn the Great Creator and having a sideboard built around it. And we got to see that on display too. But overall, fun games, fun matches. Opponents were all friendly and nice, or silent, one or the other. No trolls. That always makes me happy. So I'll post this and the rest of the videos up later today. And yeah, that's it for John Lukka Surprise. Until the next time. So this is Johnny Cycles with cyclesgaming.com. Thanks for watching. Thanks for reading. Click that subscribe button in YouTube for me, please. And I'll see you on the next one.